Back in the day when I was a lad, one of the most popular, or at least one of the most well-known racing games was the Micro Machines series. The games had two distinct features: a top-down view instead of a behind-the-car view, and the fact that the cars were toys driving around kitchen tables, sand pits and pool tables. While there were many versions, the two I remember most are the Mega Drive game with the extra controller ports on the top and a track creator, and the N64 game. I also remember a PS2 game that was really good, but I never owned it and it seemed to disappear from shelves pretty quick. The point of this little nostalgia trip is the Micro Machines series was well liked back in the day, but seemed to disappear without any real reason. This has resulted in other games picking up where they left off. Which brings me to Tabletop Racing World Tour. The core concept remains more or less the same: toy cars racing around tables, including a Chinese restaurant, a garage, among others. The toys themselves are kind of like those weird super deformed style toys, the ones with the oversized wheels in weird proportions. Though in this game the camera is behind the car like a traditional racing game instead of above it like in the Micro Machines games. The main single player mode is similar to Sonic and All Star Racing Transformed, in which you have a selection of events and completing these events earns you 1 to 3 stars. Get at least 1 star on all the events in a column and you can move on to the next column. Move through all the columns and you can compete in the championship for the trophy. Get both trophies and you can move on to the next tier of races. The events vary, combat racing being one of the main ones. This is basically Mario Kart in the sense that there are power-ups on the track. However, if you pick up a second power-up, that changes your current power-up into a boosted version of the one you already had. Other events include a straight race with no power-ups, drifting events and time trials. Hot Lap is an interesting addition where you have to beat a specific lap time, along with Pursuit where you have to catch an AI driver. As you win races, you will earn money to buy new cars and upgrade existing ones. While the first tier of cars has some good variety, the rest of the game is a bit heavy on sports cars for my taste. Not really a problem, I just miss the dump trucks and ice cream vans of the Micro Machines games. The game works. I would have preferred more straightforward races myself, as I don't really care for time trials and drifting, but like I said, the game is fine. There's a fair bit of variety in the events, and some of the tracks have shortcuts you can open by shooting glowing pink objects at the side of the track with rockets, but these rarely come into play and don't really make much difference when they do. The real problem though is the track design. I don't know why, but virtually all the tracks here are small in size, technical tracks with a lot of sharp turns. Lap times are frequently under 30 seconds and even under 20 seconds in some cases. Imagine if almost every track in Gran Turismo was like Autumn Ring Mini, and well, you've got a good idea of what it's like driving in Toy Box Turbos. This has a knock-on effect with the game's power-ups. They don't do much compared to other games of this type. They just slow you down for a second or two, but because you're often crawling around the track anyway, getting hit by one of these is a big setback. And if a bot decides to cut you off and slam you into a wall, you might as well restart, because trying to make back 6 to 10 seconds in a race that's under 100 is a tall order. That said, the short nature of the races does mean that if you do have to restart, you're only losing a minute of your time. While getting all the trophies isn't that difficult, if you want to 100% the game, there is some challenging stuff here, though I didn't really care enough, especially when there's far better racing games to play. In the end, do I recommend Tabletop Turbos? Honestly, no. It's not a horrible game, it's just not a terribly fun one. It's mediocre to a fault, making it feel bland. There's better stuff out there. If you want a cheapo game to play while listening to a podcast, or you really want a toy-themed racing game that isn't Toy Box Turbos, then I guess it's okay.